What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the US, let me know what country you're representing. Family, I need you to smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not done so already, after you subscribe, there's a little bell next to your subscribe button. Go ahead and click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. Fam, hey, for anybody who's just gotten over here to the promised land, welcome to America. Here we are again, another school shooting. This time, 14 students and one teacher are dead after a shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas on today. That's Tuesday, May 24th. Uvalde, Texas is about 4.5 hours southwest of Houston. It's closer to San Antonio. The suspect is an 18-year-old kid, a student at Uvalde High School. He's dead as a result of police gunfire. This dude executed 14 students, 14 kids, and a teacher. But catch this, fam. Before he went on the shooting spree, he started up gunning down his own grandmother. He killed his own grandmother before he entered the school and again opened fire. So, like when parents drop their kids off at school, they have every expectation that their child is going to return home safely, because you try to send your kids to the best school that you can. And, while we know that we don't live in a perfect world, you expect the worst thing that could happen at school is that perhaps your kid reported a case of bullying or something, and that's something that can be worked out. But now, when you take your kid to these schools and you drop them off, especially public schools, it's a crap shot. It's a crap shot. They may be intact when you go to pick them up, or they may be lying on a gurney in a morgue when you go pick them out. So you might be picking them up or picking them out. You don't know these days. This guy, this 18-year-old kid, his name is Salvador Ramos. Salvador Ramos. Some people pronounce that Ramos, but it says pronounced Ramos. In any event, whatever his name is, this is what I wanted to know, fam. What do y'all think about the idea of not mentioning mass murderers' names? Because they say that a lot of times these guys take these guns and they start shooting because these are people who feel insignificant. These are people who feel like their life has no meaning and nobody pays attention to them. Nobody cares about them. So they figure that, okay, well, I know how to get everybody's attention. I know how to make it all about me. I'll just, instead of me trying to become the star of the basketball team or go out and try to be a scholar, maybe be the president of the chess team, I'll just get me a gun and kill some people. That's the quickest, cheapest way to get some notoriety, is to do something stupid, is to commit an evil act. That's the quickest way to get some attention. Regardless of what it costs you, regardless of how much life equity you got to give up. You feel like, a lot of these cats feel like, you know, that's the best that they can do. So what do y'all think about not mentioning their names and also or showing their pictures and not mentioning the count, the death count? What do y'all think about that? Uh, you guys can start dropping your opinions about that as I read on. I was checking out something. I was very interested in knowing, like, like there's a lot of school shootings that happens in America, and I was interested to know what those stats were looking like. So there have been 27 school shootings this year alone. There's been 119 school shootings since 2018, when Education Week began tracking such incidents. The highest number of shootings, 34, which occurred last year. There were 10 shootings in 2020 and 24 each in 2019 and 2018. I know some people are gonna be like, well, it's the Democrats, it's the Republicans, all them motherfuckers, they all on the same team, fam. Stop getting caught up in the politics. Stop looking at this party, that party. Now, I will say this, though. I will say this. It's important to say this. The Republican Party has pretty much went out of their way to strike down any type of measures that would hold people more accountable for gun possessions. So I'm trying to see if I can find those stats. Let's see. That's where are those stats at? Let's see. Okay, I'll come back to it. I'll come back to the stats. In any event, fam, it's a problem. Murder in the United States of America. Murder. And this is for all the people out there who think that these shootings only happen in the South. Most of these shootings happen, most of the shootings are happening up north. Let's see, north, east coast, south. Okay, so most of them are right there bordering right on the south. Texas had 3 of them alone. Florida had 2. You had 1 in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. You had 1 in Greenville, South Carolina. Another one was in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then you had 3 in the DC area. This gets a little bit more interesting. There was 1 in Dorchester, Massachusetts. Dorchester. Go figure. That was 1 in Buffalo. You guys probably was not aware of at all. That happened back in February. Then you had another one in Erie, Pennsylvania. Another one in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There was 1 in Kentwood, Michigan. 1 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 1 in Rockford, Illinois. Chicago, Illinois. Iowa, Des Moines. Then you had Kansas, Richfield, Minnesota. Arizona, Kingman, Arizona. Yakima, Washington. If you notice, fam, a lot of these killings happened in small towns. What's going on in the smaller towns that is turning out more school shooters? What's happening in these little small towns? We had one in Houston, but Uvalde, a very little small community. And then there was one in San Antonio. San Antonio is not a small community. It's a major city, big city. But you had one in Sanford, Florida, and then another one in what do we say? Yeah, again, Dorchester. Here's the thing. When the shooting happened in Buffalo, Joe Biden, your president, fixed his mouth to say, "This is not who we are." Family, I vehemently disagree with that statement. This is exactly who we are. And I personally think it's by design. Because anytime America wants to fix something, it just happens. Like anytime America wants to hold somebody accountable, just like that. I mean, it ain't even you don't even get a heartbeat out of it. It's just bam, it just happens. So I think it's all by design. These school shootings are not going to ease up. It's getting worse and worse. If I'm a parent today with school-aged children, if I can afford to, I'm getting my kids the hell up out of that school, public schools, starting with public schools, may even get them out of private schools, but definitely public schools. Oh, hell no. Now, I know somebody say, well, there's some good public schools. Yeah, there's a couple of them. There's a couple of public schools out there that's all right. The problem is that you don't know which little psycho-ass kid is at that public school. You don't know which public school has the little psycho-ass kid. Because it can be a kid that appears to be normal, and sometimes normal is a kid that is a little withdrawn or standoffish. Might not be a kid, it might be a kid that's socially awkward and that appears to be harmless, but you don't know what's going on inside of that. And it ain't always mental health. I get really, really hot when people blame everything on mental health. Yes, mental health, we do need resources. We do need more resources to deal with victims of mental health. Yes, we do need more resources. But you couldn't tell Trump that because he cut the budget down on mental health. Also, Bush cut the budget on mental health. Abbott, right here in Texas, he cut the budget on mental health. They seem to not think that mental health is a big deal in America. I said John, but his name is Greg. Greg Abbott. He cut the budget down on mental health. So, to them, mental health is not a big issue. I personally think that a lot of times mental health get blamed for people who have a sense of entitlement. We live in a type of society. We live in a everybody get a trophy society. We live in a it's not your fault society. We live in a blame everybody but yourself society. Don't take accountability. God, do not do that. It's not your fault. Go to YouTube and go to any one of these so-called self-help or weight loss, self-improvement type of videos. And one of the reoccurring statements that is often made is, it's not your fault. You're, you're overweight, and you can't stop eating. It's not your fault. Well, who damn fault is it? Is Burger King fault? Is Chip Ahoy fault? Is it Snickers fault that you laying in the damn bed at 4 o'clock in the morning eating a Snickers, and chewing on potato chips and drinking Coca-Cola? Whose fault is it? It's not your fault. You went and killed 14 children and an adult, but it's not your fault. It's your upbringing. Well, fam, let me tell you something. We all got our own cross to bear. Ain't none of us perfect. We've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. None of our parents were perfect. Everybody got a story. Everybody's been harmed in some way. Everybody's been hurt in some way. But everybody don't take a damn gun and start shooting people and start killing people just because their feelings have been hurt, because they've been emotionally injured. I'm not making light of people who go through situations like that, fam, but we all go through it. And hey, that's the price you pay. That's the rent you pay for living. You got to go through some shit. That's the rent you pay for living on this earth. So suck it up, buttercup. I don't want to hear it. I got my problems. My family members got problems. My friends got problems. I'm putting out fires every day. Man, I came up just as bad as damn near anybody could come up. Shit, talk about abuse. Man, y'all, man, hey, man. A lot of people today, they don't have the tools. They don't have the tools to cope with reality. So they live in a virtual world. And this is why they simulate these GTA games and stuff like that. They get a gun and just, they get bored with playing the video games, and then they want to go out into the world and try it for real on real human beings. It's kind of like this virtual reality is almost like a drug. Once you got to try something stronger. You got to do it a little stronger. Everybody, like people are logging in to the internet, and they're being depressed. They're watching it. They get on the internet and they seeing how people are living their life. People that ain't really living their life that way, but they coming off like they got the perfect life. And you sitting back there thinking of how bad your life is. You got people who are probably living a life that ain't even on par with your life. They're probably way more miserable than you. But they get online and they make it seem like everything all right, everything all beautiful. So now you feeling bad about yourself. So now you want to do something destructive. I feel like most of this stuff, fam, is just self-entitlement. Most of this stuff is just people who've given up, who can't hack it. Just like the other youngster did in Buffalo, who went out there and killed people. He was a bum. He couldn't hack it. He wasn't good with girls. He was socially awkward. He couldn't cut it in the world. He couldn't take his lumps like everybody else took their lumps and get over it. He couldn't respect the process of not measuring up and doing something about it later on, evolving. He couldn't respect the process of evolving. So he decided he's going to go out and kill a bunch of innocent people and then blame it on the old reliable, oh, I'm doing it for the white race. Because he know it's a bunch of dumbass white people out there that will send him a stroke a check and say how great he is and make him feel like he's somebody important because he killed some people, some innocent people. And a whole lot of them who would send him money ain't got the balls to fight their way out of a paper bag, wouldn't push a duck in the pond, but they giving him the money because they love their stooges. They'll pay somebody else if they'll go out and do it. They'll pump somebody else's head up, influence them to go out and do something, throw their whole life away. And then they sit back and reap whatever fear tactic benefits that comes from it. It's a cold game, man. Yeah, Joe Biden, this is exactly who America is. We're sick of the lies, man. Stop lying. All you damn politicians, stop lying. All you members of law enforcement, stop lying. This is America. And this is the America that y'all like. Y'all know this is America. Y'all know that the police departments across America are corrupt. Y'all know that. Y'all on the inside. Y'all playing the game. So y'all already know it's all a facade. It's one big lie. That's all it is, fam. One big lie. A number of the shooting victims are children of Customs and Border Patrol agents, in case you wanted to know. So let's see how they play that. Let's see how they play, how they gonna deal with this cat, Salvador. Let's see how they deal with him. Going into the comments. What's up, Michael? Ray Best. LeakU.com. What's up, Clay Kendall? What it do? Oh, and by the way, as you know, they've already declared this guy to be a lone wolf. He acted alone. How in the hell y'all break the case? How y'all breaking cases every time it's a mass shooter? How in the hell y'all break the case in television time? Because the police love to say, well, people think solving cases is like television. It's not television. It takes a lot of resources, takes a lot of time to go through these cases and sift through evidence and interview people and but every time it's a mass murderer, he acted alone. I mean, before they put the cuffs on him, they on their way. Yeah, he acted alone. I want you to know he acted alone. He was a lone wolf. He acted alone. He was independent. It was an isolated case. We got to, they're quick to say that. How they break the case that fast? Can't break no other cases. Got rape kits all around America. Most rape kits go untested. They got the evidence right there and won't even test it. They got evidence, won't even test it. But we're supposed to believe that they are solving, they are investigating, and they are solving the case, breaking cases inside of 5 minutes. In fact, as soon as they hear about I do believe as soon as they find out it's a mass murder, I think they all just be on code. I think that the code it's in some type of manual or something. Look, this is what you say. Just like it's in the manual when they kill people, innocent people. I thought he had a gun. Certain things they say, I thought, I feared for my life. I feared for my life. So if this happens, he acted alone. Lone wolf, isolated incident, and mental health, depending on who the shooter is. I don't trust them at all. None of them. I don't trust them. Every time it's a mass murder. They can't solve no cases. But every time it's a mass murder, every time it's a mass shooting, they break the case in record time. He acted alone. Lone shooter. Police can't break a fingernail. When the last time you saw a police officer break a fingernail? Pretty, they don't get hurt at all. They don't break nothing. How they gonna break a case? Can't break a fingernail, but they breaking cases. I don't trust it. Don't believe them. The Genius Channel, what's up? Lionel Johnston, what it do? What's up, Orissa? I like that name, Orissa. Yvette said, I bet the government gave him a check for a sex change. Yeah, this dude killed 14 babies and an adult. Well, actually, he killed 2 adults. He killed his grandmama. This dude, what kind of demonic person killed a grandmama? Man, even if your grandmama is the worst grandmama, who kills their grandmama? Sexy Senior, what up? Dude killed his grandmother. There's a lot of demonic people in this country, and it starts at the top. It's not just the people, the regular citizens. It is the people who are employed by the biggest and most influential institutions in America. We're talking about the government. We're talking about law enforcement. We're talking about the educational system, the medical industry. We're talking about the transportation industry, the tech industry. The most demonic people reside at the top. That's why America don't get a lot of good coming its way. That's why it just seemed like that's why we're like surrounded by evil, because the demonic leadership starts at the top. Look at your own household. In fact, go outside of your household and look at other people's households. Whoever's at the top, whoever that leader is, the other people who live in that house behave very similar. Listen to what I'm saying. Leadership starts at the top. Go in the house, you find the parents never home. When they are home, they're being abusive. They're cussing the kids out, disrespecting the kids. The kid's gonna be wild as hell. They're going to be out of control. Likewise, you go into a household where education is stressed, more than likely, a kid is going to do well academically. I said more than likely, the kid is going to do well academically if education is stressed in their household. If it's not, when a kid drops out of school in the 8th grade, 9th grade, or bring bad grades home, have bad conduct, the parent or the guardian ain't going to bat an eye because that's what they expect anyway. In fact, they probably got it from them. So if the parents don't have high expectations for the kid academically, then the kid probably ain't going to do well academically. That kid got to be something special to break that mold. So let's see how this fuels the Republican base, because I'm sure they're going to be talking about the dreamer and how this guy was a dreamer and how he needs to go back, because this guy is really dark. And you know, anything lighter than a anything lighter than a cashew is not American. I mean, anything darker than a cashew, you can't be American if you're darker than a cashew. So let's see how they try to play this. I'm sure politics is definitely coming into play. And I'm gonna tell you, every time there's a mass shooting, the whole conversation about guns invariably takes place. I mean, it happens every single time there is a mass shooting. They go right on in. These school shootings, terrifying students, educators, parents, and communities. You know what I'm saying? They always reignite polarizing debates about gun rights. Always. Gun rights and school safety. So let's see what they bring this time around. We know how it go though, fam. It's gonna be a whole lot of slow singing, heads dropping, and prayers to the family, and RIPs. And I'm just trying to bring context to the debate, fam. And they're gonna act like they're trying to bring context to the debate, but that ain't what they're really trying to do. What they're gonna be really doing is just talking and monetizing this whole thing. And they're gonna sweep it right on under the rug and keep it moving until the next shooting happens. And then another shooting happens, and then another shooting happens, and then another shooting happens. And it's the same rinse and repeat. Nothing's gonna change. See, America is a reactionary society. It's a reactionary country. How many times have you seen, if you live in a big city, you know that if you can go to a particular intersection and there not be any signal lights, no stop sign, and you can just go, take off, right? Or perhaps there is a stop sign, right, in one place or whatever, but there's not sufficient signage for people to yield or stop. And they'll have several wrecks, near-death situations. They'll do nothing but come in, clean up the wreck, and then keep it moving, open the road up as soon as possible. The moment somebody gets killed, they got a red light up before the sun rise. They already got a signal light up before the sun rise. They got to wait till somebody get killed before they put that signal light up. But before that, people will complain about it and they'll be like, well, it's costs money. You know, money's going to take money, money, money. But we know America ain't got no problem spending money. They spend money like that. Spend that money like that on anything they want to spend it on. So money ain't never the issue in America. It ain't gonna never be the problem. They print money, so that ain't nothing. The problem is that you got a lot of people that's in powerful positions that are incompetent, and then you got people that just don't care, and then you got people that actually benefit off the suffering of the American people. Most of these people in high places are trash. This is why they refuse to take out the garbage. Most of them are trash, fam. They're horrible human beings. Horrible, horrible human beings. This is why it's so much crime and corruption in America. I lived in Azerbaijan for 10 years. Azerbaijan has about 4 million people in Baku, the city of Baku, where I lived. Azerbaijan is in Eurasia, okay? It's on the Caspian Sea. Lived there 10 years with my family. They averaged about 3 murders a month when I was living there. By comparison, Houston has about 4 million people, 4 million and counting. At that time, I'm talking about at that time, Houston had about 4 million. So, but Houston's murder rate was like, I think like 12 people a week was getting killed in Houston. So what's the difference? Then you had all the robberies, all of the domestic abuse, all of these cases. We're talking about thousands. What is the difference? This, where I was, this was considered a third world country when I first got there. Now they have it's certain areas that are very metropolis, but at that time it was considered a third world country. It got a cosmopolitan area now, but back then, it was really bad. But people was not going out robbing and killing, raping. You could see women walking the streets in high heel shoes in full go to the club dress attire at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m., 5 a.m., it didn't matter, walking by themselves, and nobody would try. No problems. I saw a dude getting beat up by a bunch of people one day in the neighborhood as I passed by going home. And I asked my driver, what's going on? So he left. After he dropped me off, he went to figure out what was going on. He came back and he said, that guy had beat up his girlfriend and the whole neighborhood whooped his ass. When I say the whole neighborhood whooped his ass, fam, listen to what I'm saying. It was young dudes kicking him and punching him, old dudes kicking him and punching him, little kids throwing rocks at him, old ladies hitting him with broomsticks in slow motion, mop handles, hitting his ass like that, bam. Hitting his ass with everything they had, just whatever they had left him, they were hitting his ass. Whole neighborhood, at least about 40, 50 people whooping his ass. And that was a consistent theme in Baku. You put your hands on them women, they're gonna whoop your ass. The whole neighborhood gonna whoop your ass. Hence, you don't have a lot of domestic violence in Baku. They actually care about the women and they do something about it. They don't just say they care, they actually do something about it, right? In America, people just do a lot of talking. They just talk about it, but they ain't gonna do nothing. They say they care about the women, but ain't no protection for the women, and the women feel less safe today than they ever felt in their life. You see? What's the difference? Leadership starts at the top. I'm not saying that the country is perfect. There's corruption everywhere. But overall, the people have a sense of purpose and unity. You see, all the people feel like that they're in it together. You dig what I'm saying? In America, we're taught individualism. We're taught to, get yours and fuck everybody else. That's what we're taught in America. We're taught to worry about only our kids and nobody else's kid. That's your business, not mine. Ain't got nothing to do with it. That's your house getting broken into. I'm your neighbor, but as long as they ain't breaking into my house, no problem. Not understanding if they're breaking into your house, it's only a matter of time before they break into my house. We don't get that. We too fucking slow. We don't care about our neighbors, and we don't care about our neighbors' children. Hence why it's unsafe for our children to play in the front yard. Remember? Our kids can't even play in the backyard now. Leave those kids in the backyard for 5 minutes and go back there. All of a sudden, you're going to end up going back there because you're not going to hear no noise. And you're going to be suspicious what the hell going on. You're going to go back there and they're not going to be there. And it might be the last time you ever see them again. So it's not just a matter of not being able to play in the front yard. You can't play in the yard at all now without mom and dad is standing right there. We don't care about our neighbors, and we don't care about our neighbors' children. There is no community. There's no sense of community. Most of y'all, I bet you anything, I bet you most of you who have been living, if you've been living somewhere, I'm going to say at least 3 years, I bet you most of y'all couldn't name 3 of your neighbors. I bet you couldn't name 3 neighbors. I'll give you 3 years where you live at, wherever you live. 3 years or less. If you've been living somewhere 3 years or less, I bet you couldn't name three neighbors. Thumbs up if you can name 3 neighbors. Thumbs down if you can't. Thumbs up if you can. Thumbs down if you can't. And I'm in that group, fam. At one point, I was like that too. I was like to myself, and I didn't want to like, hey man, I don't need y'all. Y'all don't need to know my phone number. I don't need y'all. Y'all don't need to be. I don't need to know y'all. Y'all don't need to know me. Y'all see me, wave. I see y'all, wave, and that's cool. I'm cool. Fam. We gotta look after each other. We got to know, because when you look after each other, you know who belong on that street. You know, when you see something different, you see somebody standing around that ain't supposed to be around there, you know who's supposed to be over there and who's not. And when you have that kind of community, you have less crime. I was living in a neighborhood called West U in Houston about 20 years ago. And I was living right next to this older white lady. I remember being at home one day. This is a neighborhood where when you move in, everybody get your phone number. They hadn't had a robbery in the neighborhood. Listen what I'm saying, fam. It was a small neighborhood, probably about maybe about, I would say about 60, 70 houses. But they hadn't had a robbery. Now, let me back up. I take that back. I forgot the rest of the neighborhood. So I would say the neighborhood, maybe about 100 houses. But they hadn't had a robbery in like 7 years. At least not a robbery reported. I'm at home one day, I get a phone call. The woman, she said, Willie, this is such, and I'm your neighbor next door, and I just want to tell you that there's a car parked outside of your house between my house, and I hadn't seen it over there before, and I just wanted just just see if you knew who that was. And I was like, I don't know who that is, but let me go see. Back then, I was really, 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 now I'll check it out now, but I'll do it with a little bit more caution. But back then, I was like, and this was my cowboy days, fam. This was my cowboy Western days. You got to understand. These are my cowboy days. So I put that thing on me, went out there. Say, man, can I help you? Dude sitting in the car, waiting. He's just sitting there. Like, I don't know if dude's a getaway driver or what, but he's sitting. And he rolled the window down. And he's like, oh no, I'm just waiting on my wife. She's working, she's working at that house next to your house over there. I said, oh, okay. Oh, and let me back up. She said something else that was very important. She said, I already took his license plate number down. I got his license plate number just in case anything happens. Now, coming from where I come from, that might seem to be a little intrusive. Like that seems like somebody that's doing too much, like a nosy neighbor or something. Let me tell you something, fam. I like them type of neighbors. That's the kind of neighbor I want. I like those type of neighbors. Yeah, I want a nosy neighbor like that. I ain't saying nosy, just all looking everything. But I'm saying you see some, say some type of neighbor. I want that neighbor. That's the kind of neighbor I want. I miss that neighbor. I miss that neighbor. Those are the type of neighbors I want. You look after me and mine, I'm going to look after you and yours. I know you ain't around, you ain't at home. I see a car, pull up at your crib, I'm looking, see what's happening. You better look, because if they go up in your neighbor house, you next. So even if you don't want to look after your neighbor, it actually, if you're the most selfish person in the world, it actually serves you it benefits you to look after your neighbor. If your neighbor is looking, if your neighbor is going to reciprocate that action. Beverly Francis. What's up, Beverly? Benita Steele. Bin Laden's Chopper. What's up? Jackie Gray. Fam, when we got away from like really looking after each other, from that community thing, when we got away from that, when we got away from the adults being able to check the youngsters, when we got away from adults respecting, the youngsters respecting the adults, simply because they was adults. When we got away from that, when an adult could check a youngster, they get into a fight, the youngster be scared as hell, like, ooh, man, a grown person had to intervene and break up the fight. Oh, I hope they don't tell my mama. I hope they don't tell my daddy. Now, they don't give a damn. They want you to tell their mama. They want you to tell their daddy, because some of their mamas and daddies reward bad behavior. They don't care nothing about you telling their mama, their daddy. In fact, you break it up, the kid might swing on you. Their mama, daddy might show up and swing on you. What's up, Simone? No, they don't need to disarm the American people. If they disarm the American people, they need to disarm the police department. They need to, if you're going to disarm the people, you got to disarm law enforcement. Because there's so many crooks in law enforcement, boy. Say, man, hey, America is just in too deep, bro. See, because what has to happen, in my opinion, what has to happen before you can disarm anybody, and I wouldn't even say disarm even after that, because it could be a booby trap. You know how America is, kind of crafty. you know, take your guns away, everything cool, ain't no problem, ain't no problem. Then next thing you know, got your ass back in slavery. Get over that, you know? I'm not with that. What needs to happen is that America needs to work. It needs to be a concerted initiative for America to work on its moral compass. That's what needs to happen. America has no moral compass. America's biggest problem is Americans. Americans are not united. There is no United States of America. The states are not united. Hell, the people ain't even united. Neighborhoods ain't united. Look at all of the conflict, man. Look at even if you look at on a high school level, you got, okay, let me show you how divided America. Let me get just to put it in context. Let me show you how divided America is. Let's start off with the classism. That's a division. No, let's start off with race. So that's the number one divisive issue in America, race. That's number one. The irony is race is something that none of us can take credit for. Like, I can't take credit for being a black man. My mom and daddy did that. You can't take credit for being a white man or Hispanic woman or whatever. None of us can take credit for who we are. You can't even take credit for your looks. If you're an attractive person who think you the shit, you can't take credit for that. You didn't do that. Your mom and daddy did that. So why you think you all of that? You didn't do that. You inherited that. That ain't no different than inheriting some goddamn money. You didn't do nothing to earn that. So why do you think that your race makes you so superior? Who are you? Who are you? What have you done to earn recognition, to earn praise? What have you done? So race, we're divided. Class, along class, we're divided. Money, we're divided. Okay. If you look at any city in America, let's start with the big cities like Houston. You got people on the north side who just like beefing with people on the south side for no damn reason other than they're on that side and we live on this side. And they constantly bicker about dumb shit like who got the best looking girls and what clubs is the best clubs to go to and who got the flyest rides and all this old dumb shit. Who dressed the best? All this dumb doo-doo dumb shit they be tripping on. You got the schools, all the school rivalries. First, you have the beef. If it's a big city, you got beef with the schools that are in the same neighborhoods. So that's a rivalry. Then you got the rivalry from the schools that's within the same district. Then you got the rivalries from across town. You got the rivalries from the block on the block. You got the park rivalries. What park are you from? You know, starting with the parks in the neighborhood, and then you go outside of those parks. So then you got the block, then you got the street, you got the neighbor, you got the park, then you got the neighborhood rivalry, and then finally you have the city. So you got Houston beefing with Dallas. You got Austin beefing with San Antonio. You got Texas beefing with Louisiana. California beefing with New York. Chicago beefing with Wisconsin. I mean, Illinois beefing with Wisconsin. You understand what I'm saying, fam? Then you got all the. Let me go back to the sports rivalries. You got the Rockets beefing with the Spurs or the Mavericks. And you got all of these sports rivals. Have you ever went into a sports chat and heard people talk about sports teams, how passionate they are when they talk about the rivalries between the sports teams? These dudes be getting so invested, they act like they getting a check. They be going crazy. I seen people shoot televisions when their favorite sports team lose. And I'm talking about people who didn't have money on the game. They'll shoot the television. So you got the sports rivalries. You got the cities beefing. Then you got the states beefing. Then you got the regions beefing. You got people on the West Coast who got a problem with people on the East Coast and vice versa. You got the North beefing with the South. Well, pretty much everybody got a problem with the South. See, the South is like, oh, the South. Ooh, man, he's slow. The South this. Oh, it's dangerous down there. Like the West Coast and the East Coast and Midwest is not in America. People get gunned down. Black people get gunned down all over this country. You got ignorant ass people all over this country. You got some of the smartest people in the world right here down south. This is where your mamas and your daddies and your granddaddies and your grandmamas come from. This your roots. So you diss your South. If you diss the South, you're dissing yourself. This where your grandparents come from. Your great-grandparents come from. But all of that division is so much that divide us, fam. We can't even focus on trying to unite. We can't even begin to try to unite. Because we on all of the dumb shit, like, man, what else can we do to divide ourselves? America, we got the answer for that. We got some division for your ass. And then you talking about Russia. The only time Americans really come together is when there's a crisis or some type of entertainment event. Think about what I'm saying, fam. That's the only time America come together. Crisis, entertainment. If there's a earthquake, a flood, hurricane, everybody's scared to death now. You know, we all in this together. We're Americans. People just automatically like kick in. You know, people just seem to be at their best. Most people, at least, seem to be at their best, and they just try to help as many people as they can when there's a crisis. Oh, all of a sudden it's Boston strong. We're all in it together. The minute that damn crisis is over, it's back to we on that side. If that crisis lasts for a week or a month, it's the moment we feel like it's there's some sense of normalcy, we're right back to the dumb shit. We go to a game. I'm a Laker fan. You a Laker fan. You know, I'm black. You white. We we high fiving. Yeah, boy, get him. Soon as the game over, and we get outside and we walking, we good. We still good because we still celebrating. Boy, as soon as we get in them car, ready to shoot something. Ready to we right back in. That's America. The only time we come together is for entertainment purposes and when there's a crisis. When the Twin Towers went down, everybody was scared because we knew if we've been hit by terrorists, the terrorists don't give a damn Oh, they want to kill, terrorists want to kill Americans. Now all of a sudden, it's all hands on deck. Yeah, the whites need the blacks. The blacks need the whites. And this, and everybody got to come together, man. We all in this shit together now. Even the people from the East, the Arabs that were living in America was like, we got to get these motherfuckers. We all together. We all in this together. Because if they drop a bomb over here, if they do something over here, man, I can get it. I can get killed. So everybody wanted to find out what was going on. We kind of figured that out. But y'all understand what I'm saying, fam? We all came together in that moment of crisis. And we just kicked in because our survival instincts kicked in. See? So we're actually very good at coming together when we're fighting, when we feel like we're fighting for our survival. But when that's not a crisis situation, we got to make up some shit. Damn, I need to be mad about something. Who can I blame for my insignificance? Who can I blame for my inadequacy? Them. Him, her. America is full of, America is an insane asylum. I'm telling you, fam. This is one big old ass asylum. And all you got to do is tell somebody, so many followers, so many people who can't fucking, can't think, who have cognitive dissonance. They hear something and somebody can tell them damn near anything and they'll believe it. And then they go out there just like a crash dummy and do something in the name of a certain person's agenda. And they think that it's all about them and their whole team and all that stuff, when really they're the sacrifice. Cold game, fam. What's up, Ava? Positivity. That's what we need, a little positivity. So 18 students, 3 adults are dead now. Let's see about that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, students killed and injured in the school shooting in Uvalde were 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders, fam. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders. Second, 3rd, and 4th graders. What's up, Reggie? Max. What it do, Max? Nothing's going to change though, fam. So, it is what it is. The system is working exactly like they intended on it to work. Don't get fooled by these governors' speeches, pretty speeches by law enforcement, trying to, say something about hope and how we're stronger. And don't get fooled by the news coverage of the funerals and all that. All that's just for ratings and likes, and all that is for show, fam. Don't get fooled by none of that. these people don't care. They don't care. It's all part of the narrative, the social construct. Don't be fooled. They don't care. Fam, what I'm trying to tell you is that you're on your own. You out here, you're on your own. That's the reality. That's what's really going on. As bad as this is, boy, the cold thing is it could have been a lot worse. It was 600 kids enrolled at that school. It could have been a lot worse. So just a little bit about Uvalde, what has happened in Uvalde, Texas. Uvalde is home to 16,000 people and is the seat of government for Uvalde County. The town is about 75 miles from the border with Mexico. Robb Elementary is in a mostly residential neighborhood of modest homes. So this is a place where, people probably felt a sense of community and probably felt like that was the last place something like that would happen. Yeah. So that's where we are right now, fam. If anything significant change, I'll bring you guys an update. Who was that? Tanika? Tanika says, I think these shooters are part of the MK Ultra program or something similar to it. Just my thoughts. Uh-huh. All right, fam. Well, that's my time. I appreciate y'all for joining the live. Regret that I had to bring you this type of news to go live, but this is one of the things that's really for me, man. It's more like about awareness and just keep your head on the swivel, fam, because as I said before, you're in this on your own. Do not depend on the government. The government is not going to protect you. Law enforcement is not going to protect you. You're on your own. And your kids are on their own. So if you got kids, just know that. You cannot depend on the school to keep them safe. You cannot depend on law enforcement to keep them safe. You're on your own. Till next time, fam. No more talk.